Hello and welcome back to Studio Session. I'm Kstherine and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Let's jump right in with today's report. For our reading, I'm still reading Little Women. I absolutely love the story so far and can't wait to finish it up, hopefully within the next couple weeks. For eating, I've been loving candy canes, getting into the holiday spirit, specifically the fruit flavored ones. There's like watermelon and blue raspberry. They have them like in a little jar at my work and I have been loving them. For playing, I've been playing the album Think Later by Tate McRae on repeat. I mentioned this in the last podcast that it was a new album that came out, and I gave it a listen over the weekend, fell in love. A lot of the songs are really short, so you can listen to the whole album in like under 30 minutes. It's great. Love it so much. For obsessing, I've been obsessing over old Christmas movies that are kind of throwbacks and nostalgia. And they just really remind me of my childhood. I love kind of like the claymation style ones. They're a little creepy, but very, very nostalgic. For recommending, I recommend that you do something outside, even though it's getting cold out. Just going for a walk or something really clears my mind, and I definitely recommend that you give it a try. And for treating, I treated myself to a relaxing weekend this week. I only kind of did the homework that was absolutely necessary and just kind of had a low-key weekend. That's it for today's report, and let's jump right into our main segment. I am joined with Lucas for our main segment. Today's album review is Unreal Unearthed by Hozier. This is an alternative album, of course, for our alternative month, and it was released just recently this summer in 2023. So I am actually very familiar with this album. I listened to it when it came out, and I absolutely loved it, but I was really happy to kind of take a deeper dive into a lot of these songs and really listen to the lyrics and appreciate all of the different aspects of the songs. So let's start with my favorite. My favorite song on this album might honestly be one of my favorite, like maybe top 20 songs of all time, and that is De Selby Part 2 specifically. There are two De Selbys on this album, but the Part 2 is definitely more my vibe. I would say it's almost a perfect song. I loved it so much. It feels like you're actually running kind of through the song. The lyrics talk about like the desire to escape or break free. Super upbeat, which I absolutely love. This song is one of my all-time favorites and definitely my favorite on the album.
Yeah, I enjoyed listening to this album as well. And De Selby Part 2 is definitely great. I like the fact that the Part 1 and Part 2 are together and not separated with De Selby Part 1 and 2. Unlike some other artists will put Part 1 towards the start of the album, Part 2 towards the end. I liked it was together because it was really just a 1-2 punch, and I had De Selby as my second favorite song on this album. For my favorite, though, I had All Things End. I liked it was upbeat, and it had shades, for me, it had shades of the song I'm the Man, where it's like, you can tell everybody, that song. Just made me happy, and yeah.
I really loved how the two De Selbys kind of seamlessly faded into each other. Loved it. Amazing. Okay, for my second favorite song on the album, I gave it to Francesca. This is a gorgeous song. It's kind of about never giving up on love, even if like your love story was kind of rough. I don't know. I just love kind of like the passion, and the lyrics are just amazing. I've been listening to this song all the time. I listened to it on the way home from work yesterday in the dark, and it was just great. It's a very good nighttime driving song, in my opinion. Beautiful song, definitely my second favorite on the album.
So yeah, like I said, I have De Selby Part 2 as my second favorite, and I just think it's a great opener, honestly. It could even be the first song, and you could have De Selby Part 1 as a lower key Part 2, but I like the placement, and it's just an all-around amazing song, and playlist worthy. I did add it to my playlist.
Okay, so now that we've covered our favorite two, that unfortunately leads us to our least favorite song on the album. So this, again, should not come as a shock. Son of Nyx is an instrumental, so it did rank lowest when I had to rate the album. Gorgeous instrumentals. It's just so hard to rank songs that don't have any lyrics. So going into my second to least favorite, I gave it to Butchered Tongue. And this is kind of a slower, less energetic song that just wasn't really a standout to me. Not a bad song, just not really up my alley.
I had Butchered Tongue as my least favorite song. I had two notes. I said wonky and not my vibe. I just think overall this is the type of album that you're going on a run to, you're doing some cardio to, and I just feel like it doesn't fit the vibe of the rest of the album. So based on that standout ability, not in a good way, I'm saying Butchered Tongue is my least favorite song on this album.
Something I noticed about this album is that a lot of the songs towards the beginning of the album were like my standouts, and then as we kind of got on throughout the album, my rankings tended to get a little bit lower, not all the time, but just something I noticed. I really liked the first part of this album better. Moving into our last superlative for the most underrated, interesting song, I gave this to Who We Are, and I just love the lyrics of this song. It's a beautiful song, and something that he repeats is the hardest part is who we are, which I think just shows the challenge of kind of finding yourself. Like the hardest part of being you is kind of being you and finding your sense of identity in the world. So I just thought that the lyrics were really relatable, really powerful, and definitely worth a listen.
So I'm giving this superlative to the 14th track on the Very Deep album, Abstract Psychopomp. I'm not quite sure what exactly that means, and I feel like it kind of fits the mysterious vibe that some of these songs give off. It does sound, as a guy who listens to a lot of music, I'm starting to hear some similarities, and it sounds like this unreleased track by an artist I'm not going to name called Souls Are Animated, and I don't know, just something about it. I like it for this award.
Okay, so overall thoughts on this album, I ranked it a 9 out of 10. I adored this album. I don't know if it's biased because I am a pretty big Hozier fan and I like a lot of his songs, a lot of his albums, but I thought that even the songs that weren't 100% my vibe just went so well on the album. Stunning vocals, great lyrics, probably one of the best albums I've ever listened to, and I can't believe that I've grown such a love for it in only the few months that it's been released. Love this album. I 1,000,000% recommend giving it a listen.
I gave Unreal Unearth a 8 out of 10 for one reason. Like we touched on earlier, I kind of don't like how it tailed off towards the end. I had a couple 6 out of 10s, a little 4 out of 10 in the latter half of the album. I just feel like, pun intended, he needs to sharpen his knife a little bit on the second half of this album for all you Hozier fans out there. And yeah, so I'll go 8 out of 10. Definitely a solid album. Would listen again. The first, let's say 6, 7 songs are just incredible, and it's a worthwhile listen.
That is it for today's main segment, and let's jump right into our playlist essentials. Today's topic for our playlist essentials is songs that instantly put you in a good mood. These are the songs that as soon as you hear the first beat, you have a smile on your face, you want to get up and dance, just reminds you of better times and just puts you in a great mood. So for my third place spot, I have There She Goes by The Laws. And for any Gilmore Girls fans, this song is featured a lot in the show. Gilmore Girls is definitely my comfort show. I love it so much, and it just brings me such good vibes, such good feelings. A great show about mother-daughter relationships, friendships, just kind of teenage life, to be honest, and I love it so much. So whenever I hear this song, it makes me think of Gilmore Girls and just puts me in a great mood.
First, I want to give an honorable mention to I'm Still Standing by Elton John. This was originally on my list, but I scratched it off because I feel like it gets me more hype than happy. Like, that's like start of a race. You're like, okay, I'm Still Standing, great song. Or at the end of the race when you need that little push. But
Can I interrupt? I think I'm Still Standing is a great song, but I think a better version is the version in the movie Sing, the animated movie, sung by the gorilla. I think that gorilla really poured his heart and soul into his version of I'm Still Standing. Thank you.
you got me emotional because that when he's getting his dad out of the jail, that just means something to me. So yeah, so I'm Still Standing. Now you got me tearing up. 3, I'm going Marry You by Bruno Mars. I just love this song so much, and it gets me happy every time, talking about love and that feeling. Is like, oh, I'm going to marry, blah, blah, you know. Bruno Mars is just the penultimate good vibes guy, and I am pinning Marry You as my third playlist essential here.
Have you ever seen that proposal video where it's like a bunch of people and they are like dancing a very intricate, thought out dance to this song, and then the guy proposes? That's all I can think of when I hear this song.
No, but I hope that's me in 15 years.
Okay, moving into my number 2 spot, I have the song Tongue Tied by Group Love. I don't know any other songs by Group Love. I only know this song. But this song immediately puts a smile on my face. It makes me think of summer. I think it's pretty much summer in a song. It just makes you think of the good memories that you have with friends. And it's just such an upbeat, summery song. So I listened to it the other day, and, we're in the midst of, it's almost winter, it's getting cold. And when I heard this song, it just made me think of better times in the sun and made me happy. So I'm giving Tongue Tied my second spot.
My second spot, I'm giving to Tints by Anderson .Paak and Kendrick Lamar. This is just a great upbeat track again. And as you may know by now, I am an Anderson .Paak truther. And the Kendrick feature here is just nice and positive, talking about rolling around town in a new car, tinted windows. And yeah, I suggest you go listen to this song. It's a great song. Tints by Anderson .Paak featuring Kendrick Lamar.
That brings us to our number 1 happy vibe song, and I gave it to Stayin' Alive by the Bee Gees. This song is just so happy and so upbeat. The minute you hear the first beat, you just want to get up and dance. It's just so good. Words cannot explain how happy and vibrant this song is. So fun. Love it.
On straight happiness, I had a couple songs that could have been in this spot. I was thinking Juice by Lizzo. I was thinking Happy by Pharrell Williams. But ultimately, I settled on a hidden banger from the second greatest album of all time. This song, I've talked to some people, it's gone under the radar, obviously, due to the commercial success of the album and the other songs around it. I'm going The Girl Is Mine by Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. This song is about a shared love interest between the two superstars, and it tells a story. It's pretty short and it's kind of goofy, but it just gets me in a good mood every time. Just Paul McCartney going bar for bar with Michael Jackson, like, The Girl Is Mine. And yeah, another suggested listen by me. That is my number 1 song that puts me in a good mood.
I'm in a good mood just thinking about these songs. Juice by Lizzo is a great one. Okay, that was it for our playlist essentials, and let's get into our next segment. For our final segment today, we're going to be covering what's coming next. Since it's kind of the beginning of the week, we don't have too many updates on upcoming albums. That will be more of our Friday shows focus. But yeah, we are going to be highlighting what we're going to be doing in our next podcast. Lucas, do you want to announce the album?
Of course, this is a favorite of mine. We're going with the 2007 classic album, Oracular Spectacular by MGMT. This is their best album by far, their most commercially successful. There's some great songs on here. I'm not going to spoil it, but you've definitely heard them before, and I'm very excited to do this album. It's over 15 years old. It's almost as old as me, and yeah, that's what we'll be doing on the next episode, and we might have some new albums coming out Friday we might touch on. We'll see, but we will see you on the next episode.
I'm super excited to listen to this album. I kind of really wanted to do Unreal on Earth, so I let Lucas pick this one, and I'm excited to give it a listen. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's podcast. Make sure to listen to I'm Still Standing by Johnny the Gorilla today. Thank you, and have a great day. See you next time.